Hi friends, this is Angelica. Thanks for joining me here on the Greetery YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be introducing the new Wildwood Stamp Set. This stamp set is part of the new Harvest Fest collection, which will be in the Greetery shop tomorrow morning. So let's take a quick look first at the stamp set. It will come with a stamping guide, and there is a beautiful bouquet example on the stamping guide, and it has a letter around each flower that is in the stamp set. Now, the flowers themselves in the stamp set are alone, so I'm going to stamp out every flower. Some of them are layered, so you can see how they all come together. There's also a coordinating die to die cut the flowers, and then a coordinating sentiment die set to die cut the 3 sentiments that are in the stamp set. I've already die cut white cardstock with the Wildwood die. I have the negative in my MISTI and then all the die cuts in their place. I do have a grip mat in my MISTI to hold everything down. I'm starting with flowers A and G. These flowers are 4 layers. 2 layers are for the petals, and the last 2 layers are for the middle of the flower. So I'm stamping with Concord and 9th ink. I use Clementine and Spice Cider for the petals, and then for the middle I used Nutmeg and then VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink for the little detailed dots. The next 2 flowers are flowers B and C on the stamping guide. These flowers have 3 layers to them. I picked a yellow theme for them, so I used Buttercup and Stardust for the petals. And then for the center of the flowers, I used Pink Fresh Studios Gather Twigs. For the next 2 flowers, I'm starting with the stems first so I can stamp them in the same color. I used Nutmeg for the stems, and then I'm going to E, the flower that is labeled E, and the berries I did stamp in a lighter red first. I didn't really like the way it looked, so I restamped it with Berrylicious ink. And then the second flower, which is D, it does have 2 layers, so I used Grapefruit and Sorbet for those petals. Now I am stamping stems that are optional if you want to put stems on the larger flowers in this set. The next flower is F, and I'm stamping the stem in Peacock, and then I'll be using Spice Cider for the petals. The next stamps that I'm going to be using, they are not lettered on the guide. They are more just background stamps or background flowers. So I did stamp them in wheat ink. And then there's also this really pretty feathered stem, which I stamped again in Peacock ink. I have a couple leaves I'm stamping in the Peacock ink. And then the last 2 leaves are J and K on the stamping guide. And I stamped them brown using wheat and nutmeg ink. And now you can see all of the flowers in this stamp set. So since I just spent a lot of time stamping out all of these flowers, I decided I wanted to use them all, or as much as I can, on the card front. So I am completely inspired by the bouquet that is on the stamping guide. I didn't use all of the flowers, and I do wish I had stamped those stems in brown. I probably would have been able to use them. The green just didn't really match the theme of these flowers. So I used what I could. I did cover the flowers with press and seal to hold them together so I can put some foam adhesive on the back of each flower. If you don't have press and seal and you want to do this, washi tape works really good, or purple tape, something that has a really low tack to it. Now, I do recommend making sure that the ink on your paper is fully dry before doing this, because the low tack still can pull the wet ink off of your cardstock, and that's just not a good thing. So make sure the ink's fully dry before doing that. I added the foam adhesive to the back, and now I'm going to add them to a card front. This is Tailored Expressions Poppy Seed cardstock, and I stamped the Fond of Foliage background stamp with black ink onto it. Now I'm adding the bouquet to the card front, and I'm going to move on to the sentiments. So I die cut white cardstock with the sentiment dies, and I have used black ink to stamp the sentiments. And let me read these sentiments to you. They are: you're in my thoughts, Ever So Grateful and With Love. I should have shown them on screen. I was not thinking. I just moved on to picking out my sentiment. I did use the Ever So Grateful sentiment. I added foam adhesive to the back and attached it to the card base. And that's going to finish the card and the introduction to the Wildwood Stamp Set. You can see more projects made with this stamp set over on the Greetery blog. Betsy has a lot of examples to look at. She's got full descriptions of all the products in this collection. And again, this collection will be in the Greetery shop tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That's all that I have for today. I want to thank you again for joining me. Take care, friends.